Hello, so another little live, which is a follow-up to a workshop at the festival, the Transformation Through Your Archetypal Essence workshop. And for those of you who were there, who are watching this, I know it was a very deep and transformational journey, but also somewhat mysterious. And I said I would give you a bit of context in this video, not just to please the mind, but actually because the context will be helpful in putting it into practice in your life. And yeah, I think it's a really important key. So the first thing I want to say is what we were doing on that workshop from the start is we were really attuning to the needs underneath a pattern or trigger. And this is important because in our normal daily lives, even if we've got a meditation practice or we take time to tune in our daily lives, the majority of the time with the busyness of life, that tuning in can get missed. We're subtly caught in a pattern of some kind, whatever our pattern is, and we don't take the time to come back to ourselves and really feel what's happening on a deep level, what needs to be felt, what needs to be seen and heard within me. And we'll come back to that at the end of this this live. And this is what we were doing. We're tuning into that in the workshop because most of the time we are in a subtle pattern, even if we don't know it. So it may be that your pattern is procrastinating or self-doubting or performing or pleasing or trying to get it right or intellectualizing or spiritualizing or trying to find a solution. So there's lots of these survival strategies that we have running on autopilot in our personality, and they're quite hard to spot most of the time. Most of the time we just kind of don't realize that we're in it. When we take a pause from doing our autopilot pattern, it puts a kind of pressure on, and it can feel a little bit uncomfortable. So I think many of you probably experienced that in the workshop. When we stop the pattern and we go underneath, there's a kind of discomfort, there's an uncomfortableness. If we can stay, if we have the centeredness to stay with that uncomfortable feeling, which is actually the emptiness of what we didn't receive that's underneath the pattern, the emptiness of what we didn't receive is actually driving the pattern. And if we can find the centeredness to stay with that and open, then being can actually come in and fill that empty place within us with the quality that we always needed. And these qualities, they come in. Yeah? So you guys got to experience a little that on the workshop. It's a kind of magical process, but it requires staying in that place in the emptiness, in the longing, and actually lamenting and opening with a real need. And then that gets responded to. And of course in the workshop we're kind of doing it in a guided way, and it happens on a kind of physical or image level, but also in the outside world. That can very much happen when we open and we call something in. It can actually come in the circumstances of our lives. So it's important to hold that calling open. So I suggest whatever it was you worked with in the workshop, whatever the key archetypal essence that you need, whatever that was, to keep that door open and stay curious about how that comes into your life, not by trying to control it or think of ways to strategize, but actually just opening and seeing how it comes in. So that's a picture, that's the context, and of course you could say, well, yeah, you were facilitating the workshop, you were guiding us on that journey, and that's true, and there is something about having someone to help you see what you're in so that you can come out of it. I think we all need that. Yeah, we've all got blind spots, me too, and we need support in order to see that. And there's something about just taking that moment with ourselves, remembering to take that moment to come back to ourselves. So this kind of work that we're exploring, this way of working with shadow, which is actually a kind of new way as far as I know, this is a big part of what I'm offering in Embracing the Tantric Shadow. And those workshops, there's like an ongoing group of people who are coming on them now, and they get first refusal, but there are spots that open, and so there is a waiting list for that, and I'll put a link beside if you want to go deeper into this work. And what I would invite is to actually, after this live, just to take 3 or 4 minutes just to place a hand on your body and come back to yourself and really ask yourself, what is it that needs to be felt? What is it that needs to be attuned to right now? I know in this world it's tempting to be like, okay, skip, next video, whatever, or get engaged in what you're engaged in, I don't have time. But those 3 or 4 minutes, those little moments of attunement taken regularly through the day can really help to open what's underneath. Often a lot of what we're busy chasing and doing, it doesn't really satisfy us. And when we take those little moments to come home and feel what's there, when we attune to what's there underneath, and we're with that, then it can really improve the quality of our day. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and do write any comments or send me any questions. I'd love to hear feedback on these workshops. Okay, bye for now.